Welcome back to Jersey Matters. Scammers are out there and they are looking for victims. They are going after one particular group, and it's probably not the group you're thinking of. Here to talk about that is Dan Roccato, who is the president of the Quaker Wealth Management. Thank you so much. Appreciate you being back.
It's great to be here.
So who is the most susceptible group to scammers?
Yeah, wouldn't you think it would be senior citizens, right? But in fact, the statistics show, Larry, that millennials aged between 1935, the tech-savvy millennials, disproportionately are victimized by scams, right? They're 3 times more likely to be victimized by a scam than their parents.
Now let's play that out for a second and try to figure out the reasons for it. Is it because many of the scams have now moved to the internet and they're more likely to be on the internet?
No question that's part of it. But here's an interesting thing, right? This generation grew up with technology. Their babysitter was a computer in some cases, right? But so you'd think, boy, how ironic is that they're being scammed when it comes to technology. But I think they've gotten overly trusting of it as well. Whereas you and I and our parents' generation, we're still not sure this whole cloud thing. Clouds make rain. They don't hold data, right? Well, the millennials grew up with it, so they're much more used to it, and therefore, I think, accepting. So that's the first reason. I think the other thing is they live their financial lives online. They don't have bank statements in paper form, credit card statements in paper form, pay stubs in paper form. It's all up there in the cloud. So it's out there. So it's easier for scammers to target them because they know the information is out there. I think the third thing really is that their social media activity is so much more robust than generations like ours or our parents, where, again, they're out there in the public domain, so it's easier to get that information if you're a scammer.
Yeah, we were talking generations a moment ago, and I cracked up when you pointed up to talk about the cloud, because when my son, whenever I do that around my son says, Dad, it's just a huge building in North Carolina.
Or Iceland.
Or Iceland, you don't have to point up.
Your son's right.
Cloud. However, these statistics are all based on the people that report fraud, right?
That's right, yeah.
Now, is it possible that seniors are still being hit hard and they're just not reporting it?
No question. Seniors still make easy targets. Different types of fraud. Seniors disproportionately get the robocall fraud, right? Hey, this is your Nigerian prince, I'm captive, but if you send me some money, there's a treasure in it for you kind of call, right? Or the IRS calling. IRS doesn't call, they send letters. So seniors are more susceptible to those types of things. But the online scams, they're directed right at those millennials.
And the interesting one, when I looked at the list that you sent over and I looked at everything, they said the #1 scam is fraudulent credit bureaus.
Yeah, fraudulent credit bureaus.
I didn't even know that was a thing.
Yeah, it is. So you'll get the call or an email saying, this is the credit bureau. We can increase your points by 10 points on your credit report or something like your credit score if you do the following. Give us your bank information and we'll help you, right? Those sorts of scams. Millennials are falling for those.
Now, are there legitimate people that help you with your credit scores?
No question. But they're not going to call you on the phone as a robocall. You can bet that's not legit. Hang up.
Do we know why they don't go after these people more?
They do. It's so hard to find them, as we found with the last election, right? Who is out on the internet? Who is in cyberspace? They could be in another country, a country that's not friendly to ours, perpetuating these types of scams. Very difficult.
How does New Jersey rank in all of this?
So New Jersey is about number 14 when it comes to identity theft. Identity theft's a huge problem, as you know. So that's not great. And the average loss last year was about $440 for those folks that were victimized. So what we like to tell folks is protect yourself. And there are ways, even in our modern economy and society, that you can protect yourself from being a victim.
Well, that leads to the question. Yeah. What are the ways?
Well, let's first clean up the social media. No birth dates. We don't need people on Facebook saying happy birthday. Get your birth date off. Let's go back to cats and dogs on social media, not personal information. So that's first. And millennials are guilty of that.
You put that as #1?
Yeah.
So that's a big problem?
It's a huge problem. Millennials put a lot of too much information, TMI, especially personal information, on their social media accounts, LinkedIn, things like that. The second thing is, again, we are used to, you and I think, are used to protecting our Social Security number. It's just reflexive to us. Millennials, maybe not so much. Your Social Security number is the Powerball to a scammer. If they get that, they're off to the races. So I always tell folks of all ages, but especially millennials, protect that Social Security number. Listen, you go to a McDonald's drive-thru, they're asking for your Social Security number, right? Everyone's asking for it. Push back. Say, no, I don't want to give that out. Unless there's a really good reason, unless you know it's protected, don't give out your Social Security number.
Does it work when they just ask for the last 4 numbers?
Yeah, so the last 4 digits, that's fine, you know, if you want to use it as your password, if they use it as a password over the phone or something, but don't give out your Social Security number if you don't have to. The other thing is, remember malls? We used to go to malls. Well, malls are gone. Now they're assisted living facilities. They're being redeveloped. And now we use our phone as a mall, right? So we click and slide our way through the mall. Well, shopping online is super convenient, but it also brings with it risk. And there's scammers that are trying to get between your purse and the purchase that you're trying to make while you're clicking and sliding online. Super convenient, but let's protect ourselves. So don't use public Wi-Fi networks if you're using your credit card or debit card, that sort of thing, to shop online. Don't store credit card information on different retail sites. Things like that. Simple, common sense things can help you avoid these kind of scams.
And so, let me get back to one question that I think is important in the beginning. Much of this is based on what is being reported. And the number, by the way, that is stolen every year is $1 billion. Is that what it is? Yeah. About $1 billion. It is all based on who's reporting it.
Correct.
Is it possible, because to me, it goes so much against type, and it goes so much against what I've heard. Is it possible that seniors just either don't know or are not reporting, and that would affect the statistics?
Yeah, this is probably one of the most underreported crimes. There's also something else that's a little bit even more unseemly. A lot of these crimes, particularly identity theft, is committed by family or friends. So seniors have this natural, protection of their family and friends, as you would imagine. So my guess is there's a lot of that that's not reported as well. But a good part of this crime is committed, unfortunately, by family and friends.
I'm still blown away by the fact now about the Social Security number being given out so easily, because you're right. In our generation, we're taught never to do that. Where would it appear? Just when somebody asks you for it?
I'll give you a great example. So my kids came home not too long ago with a class trip form. And one of the items on there was permission, to sign and put their Social Security number on it. I sent it back without the Social Security number. They don't need my child's Social Security number to go on a class trip. Little things like that, when you look at that and say, that just doesn't make sense. You, by the way, don't have to give your Social Security number to the doctor's office. In fact, there's very few instances where you must give your Social Security number. So let's protect that, because again, that is the golden goose to the scammers.
It's funny that you were talking about social media, because this whole thing came out with Facebook now, and there's now some distrust of social media, and yet I don't see it among millennials.
Yeah.
I mean, even with all the information out there, it seems like they still trust because it's so much of their world.
No question. They grew up in this world. Again, you and I are adapting to the world, but they grew up in this world. So for them, it is not second nature, first nature.
Information's currency.
It's currency. And so therefore, they have to relearn some of the things about security and protection that perhaps they didn't get the first time.
Right. Millennials need to be trained on this maybe more than any other group, because they've grown up to trusting.
Exactly right. We've become naturally skeptics. Maybe years do that to us, right? They don't have that experience pool yet. They'll get there. But especially when it comes to technology, because they're so steeped in it, they probably are a little bit too naive.
Right, they were born into it.
Yeah.
I mean, it's a great point. Thank you so much. I appreciate you coming in.
Good job.
Dan Roccato is the president of the Quaker Health Management. Still to come on Jersey Matters. Before the amazing Kreskin was amazing to the world, he was amazing at a grade school right here in New Jersey. We'll explain when Jersey Matters continues.